When it comes to starting on your meaningful publication journey, the practice of creating and sharing ideas through content that also helps you explore and clarify your own thoughts. When it comes to this practice, one of the resistance we start focusing on, one of the reasons why we start resisting to this practice is because we tell ourselves that we don't have enough ideas such that we won't repeat ourselves. We believe that our ideas are finite and that at some point we're going to run out of ideas, and nobody wants to be in public running out of ideas, right? It's just a bad feeling, and we don't want to see anyone. We don't wish this to anyone, right? So that's a common hurdle. That's a common point of resistance and a common excuse not to launch a steady and frequent and joyful and authentic, meaningful publication practice. I believe that there is a misunderstanding behind this. I believe that the misunderstanding is that our creativity is finite. And when you look at meaningful publication, there are two different things: is the ideas you want to communicate and the ways you communicate those ideas. I want to reassure you that it's okay to repeat yourself. It is okay, because when you repeat yourself, you are innately, just genuinely looking for ways to say the same thing, but differently. What matters is more to explore the different methods, the different facets, the different perspective that you could use to make your point. The same point, for instance, can be made in 1 minute or 1 hour. When I started on the idea that there is a difference between a narrative and a story, my first piece of content took me about 2 hours to write, and it takes maybe 2 to 3 minutes to read. And then I thought, well, I've said this, that's it. But I reminded myself of this principle that repetition is good. Repetition helps you build a strong, powerful narrative. You want to repeat yourself as much as possible, in fact, but in different ways. So I reminded myself of this principle, and I started recording videos to explore the way I would explain the same concept. And I noticed that every time I would do a video, I would explain it slightly differently. And as I would do this, I would uncover new facets of this difference, new facet for this perspective. Then I started drawing about it. I started looking for metaphor. And for instance, one of the metaphors that I have to explain the difference between a story and a narrative is that narratives are concentration of stories. They are like the stained windows in churches, in cathedrals, medieval cathedrals in Europe. You see those stained glass windows, and they are a concentration. They are a system of stories from the Bibles, in fact, from the Bible. So I then discovered that I can explain the same thing with a metaphor, with an example. I started teaching, doing long courses, short courses, and every time I repeat myself and I talk about the same idea, I add another nuance. I add another layer of meaning around this. So I want you to start realizing that you need to separate your ideas from how you express your idea. The expression of your ideas matters more than just the idea itself. So I hope this is a reassuring insight that will help you realize that it's not so much about having infinite number of ideas, but more about how to show up every day, to repeat yourself, to explore how you can express the same thing, because that is limitless. All right, I hope this helps. As always, I welcome your questions and comments. Thank you so much.